Hello, how everybody doing? I wanted to make this video today after the whole thing that I'm sure many of people saw. I saw people talking about it, but was skeptical about saying names, and trust me, I understand. But I wanted to make this video because at the end of the day, because I know a lot of people probably thinking, what in the, it did a complete 180, right? Yeah, but sometimes it's just, you have to be willing to talk and listen and see things from all perspectives. And that's something that I've always talked about on my channel, how I want to, that's the whole purpose of what I do on here with the learning of the YouTube and trying to figure how the new system works, because we're all in the system and we're learning the system as we're in it. So now that we're here, as well as when it comes to anything that I'm speaking on, whether it's my Country Wayne skits and we're just discussing what happened in the Country Wayne world, it was always to bring everybody together, to see everybody's perspective. And when it dealt with Country Wayne, it was the male versus the female perspective. And somehow we don't always seem to connect on that. Well, really, I guess in everything that we're doing on this platform, no matter what your niche is or what the subject is you're talking about, if you're going to address it objectively, you have to look at everything from all angles, all perspectives, and you have to be willing to talk so that way you could see the full picture. Now, there's a lot of people that probably have a lot of opinions one way or the other as to what they thought, how this should have been handled or how that shouldn't have been handled. But at the end of the day, what I did like was, despite how we had to get there, we got there. And we were able to all sit and talk. Now, one thing that I will say that happened inside that conversation was we still have to be held accountable for what the part that we played in things. And that's why I think it was a big misunderstanding, but also it was a lack of accountability. Now, even when I did my videos talking about everything that was going on that I thought that was happening, with a said viewer sent to what she had to say on that live, and I heard everything she said. I heard everything the other content creator said, and I hope they heard everything that I said. But like I've always said, I also observe detail pretty well. And a lot of people, for some reason, that might not come across good. So for some, they probably say I do it I'm too deep into what I do. But that's what allowed me to be able to get a clear picture. If I'm going to look at all sides of the story, I got to look at the evidence as it presents itself to me as well. And how I handle that, well, that's where me as a person, me as my character, have to be looked at as well. So, and I'm human, and I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, because ain't nobody in this world perfect. So for anybody to think you are, right, whatever. But you still have to be accountable for the things that you did, what you contributed to, whatever. And everything really, y'all, just in a nutshell, was pretty much a big misunderstanding. And if parties were willing to listen a little too much, where I tend to put myself or someone that I really love in the position of the person that I might not care for at the time. And when I do that, I can see it a little bit different. I do that purposely. I trained myself to do that purposely, so that way I can look at it from a different perspective. What if this was my son? What if this was my daughter? What if this was my mom? What if this was my dad? What if, And a lot of people don't want to do that. What if this was my child? What if this was my job? What if this was my business? What is this? What if? What if? And when you look at things at a what if perspective, when you're talking about a situation that is not in your favor, you tend to really get a broader picture of things. You can start to see things that most will overlook. And I think that's what it boiled down to. You know, what was we willing to see? What was we willing to tackle? You know, what was we willing to address? And a lot of it came with just sheer accountability. So, in a nutshell, because I know a lot of people are like, you know, what's going on? What's going on? It's been worked out. It's been worked out. And hopefully everybody's intentions will just dissipate from here, because there's no need really to dwell on that, because it is what it is. I always said that I do not want my channel to be where I feel like I censored somebody. I want them to be able to talk. And I think a big part of doing that is it will allow a lot of stuff to happen. It will allow a lot of stuff to take place, because maybe that don't need to be had. Now, I do it in different situations. Like when it comes to my lives, if somebody come on my live because my time is precious and I'm trying to address the viewers, I'm cutting them off. I'm not even first trying to hear it. If you don't want to give a valid opinion about what's going on, and you just coming inside there and just trolling and saying some off the wall stuff, in, out you go, okay? Until tomorrow. Maybe you can get it right after tomorrow. But I also have to take an approach with, even down with my videos, because I see now that if I leave it too open when it comes to myself, then I'm gonna leave myself in a position where I will always, some things just can't get worked out. Some things just can't be figured out, because unless a person is willing to be honest with themselves, then you're never going to get to the root of the problem. And that's why I said self-reflection is key. You have to self-reflect when trying to handle a situation, or trying to resolve a situation, or trying to live through a trauma or something like that. You have to self-reflect as to whatever you have taken in, you know, how is this affecting you? That might attach to some triggers in the past or whatever. And then you have to look at, how can I, moving forward, not continue to either make that same mistake, either for myself or from what I see others do. And a lot of people don't like to do that. Let's be real. A lot of people, whatever. Some people feel like they're right and they're never wrong. Some people feel like, no, I'm not gonna apologize. Even if they see they have a problem. Some people feel that way. And it's okay for them if that's what they feel. Because once again, we're all entitled to our own opinions. We're all entitled to anything that we want to do. And it's perfectly fine. Everything doesn't have to come with an argument or drama or anything like that. Sometimes it's just easier to just, what they say, agree to disagree. Yeah, but in all things, we just got to make sure we're doing things the right way. We have to. You shouldn't do stuff maliciously, and a lot of what happened, I don't think was with malicious intent. I do not feel like that at all. I don't. On the two main parties, I do not feel it was that, and I want to go ahead and make that known. I want everyone to know that I do not think the initial situation was done with malicious intent. I do not. But I do think it was allowed to be dragged out to the point that it was, because of just simply wanting to be heard. That's all it was. Just wanting to be heard. Or seen. And I myself can be accountable. That's why I did the apology video, because based off of what I thought, I said what I said. And so I've always left that open to say, if I ever found out otherwise, I would apologize. And that's what I did. And some people might even have an issue with how I apologize. I don't know. I think when I did it, I was really just trying to make a clear cut of what I was actually apologizing for. And then my oldest daughter always told me, sometimes you don't have to explain why you do stuff. Just do it. I know you like to make it clear as to what the intentions was, but not everybody can receive that. And that's just, it is what it is on that note. And dealing with a lot of people on this platform, you're going to deal with a lot of different personalities on this platform. And nobody will handle things the way you would handle things. And that's why I think it's so important to do things with integrity, morals, respect, and the truth. I think if you're doing stuff that way, then you can be led to do whatever it is that you're doing the correct way. And I also took this as a learning experience as well, as I've always said. There's nothing I got out there that I'm ashamed to talk about. So whatever I want to see, I'm pretty plain Jane, So, but what I do, I took it in as an experience, because even though I knew almost 95% of that wasn't right, some of it was, but I will say this: a lot of information that it was pertaining to me, but about my business, not my personal life. But none in the same. We have to do things the correct way. So we all have our own tactics or whatever, or whatnot, but we also have to look at how is it going to affect. Are you actually going after the person that you're going after, or are you going after whomever, the bullet strikes? And that's the part where hopefully we all have learned a lesson from that. And we will continue to learn. And one thing I've said in a previous video, I don't care how old you are, you're going to always continue to learn. And the day you stop learning is the day you are no longer good for nobody, including yourself. You have to be willing to learn from every situation. So in this situation, I learned far as being on the side of the exposed. Now, it wouldn't bother me, absolutely none, because none of it was true. But it did tap into some areas where I either had family members that had issues involved with that, or either people that was connected to me, So, yeah, you shouldn't do that, right? But like I keep saying, all that was resolved. It ain't no hate for nobody. Not for me, it ain't. It ain't no hate. It ain't even no hate for anybody I've done an exposure on, whether it was Dante London or DoDash. My whole thing is, I just really want DoDash to stop and figure it out and stop, because she has the potential to go so far. Oh my God, she really does. And although some people seem to think she will never hit 100,000 subscribers, if she truly make a change and do the right thing, I can see her hitting 100,000 subscribers. I will be one of the people y'all call haters, which I'm not, that does exposure videos that will probably tell you she probably could hit 100,000 subscribers if she does it the correct way. Because really, y'all, at the end of the day, it really don't matter how many subscribers you have, really and truly, because really that's a vain number. It really matters about who is watching you, who is coming back, who is interacting with you. Because 1,000 subscribers can get you monetized. You don't need any more subscribers than that to be monetized. You just need people watching. You need more than 1,000 watching. So really, the people that are really the key components here are the viewers that's watching your videos. So don't get stuck on on just vain numbers. And then at the end of the day, when you look at it again, even down to the views, it ain't about how many people are watching your videos. It's how many people are watching your videos with the ads when it comes to the AdSense as to how you make your money. And that's just how this platform works, right? This is, it is what it is with this, you know? But as always, I like to try to find a learning curve in every experience that I go through. And like I keep running back to, I was exposed for a day or so. I was. And where, you know, people that knew me were saying, well, I felt bad for you going through that or whatever. It didn't sit right with me or whatnot. And my response to them was, it really didn't affect me like that. I don't know. It really didn't. It didn't affect me what they were doing or what was happening, because I was looking a little bit deeper at what was actually going on. And that's why I wasn't afraid to tackle it head on, no matter who it was. But at the end of the day, I liked the experience that I had because I got to see it from the other side. And so with my exposure videos, it won't change as far as exposure videos, but it will give me a deeper insight on the person that is being exposed. So I will be able to handle and kind of probably handle it and foresee it for what it is a little bit better than what I did before. I hope so. Because now I can be I experienced it. I got the experience of being an exposed content creator. So I know what I know. I think mine was a little bit to the extreme. Don't you think? Oh, mine was a little bit to the extreme. That darn Carter. Yeah, Carter. And let me let y'all know. He did want to do an apology video. He did say he was going to do one. But I told him it wasn't necessary. It absolutely wasn't necessary for him to do that. But he still did somewhat of an apology video, even though I told him he didn't have to, because I actually did go inside his live this morning, just to make my appearance about the topic that he was talking about, because I kind of wanted to just see the information that he had over there. So that's all it really was. And we got a little shock in eyes when it was like, what in the world? SkitLanta is up in Carter's live? Look here, SkitLanta likes everybody, okay? I don't care. Really, I do. I try to find the good in everybody. And like I told my daughter when we were talking about this, as everything was going on, I was like, for some reason, I can't see him. It's like, I know he's not my son, but every time I look at him, I can't help but to see my son, because my son is not, he's just a few years younger than him. And if my son ever found himself in a situation, something similar, not this actual situation here, but anywhere where he was in the wrong, I would hope that whoever the other person he have wrong would give him an opportunity to make whatever wrong he did right. And then I would hope my son would do the right thing, just as this young man, Carter, has done, and he has done the right thing. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, we all live life and we learn. And the key is that we continue to learn, right? But it brought me to something else, because there was another major part and another key to this whole component. And it was Clones TV, y'all. Clones TV allowed us to go on his platform and talk to each other. That's where the whole conversation went down at. And like I've told a lot of people, Clones TV, I have so much respect for Trey and Fred. I really do. Because even though I've only known them for a short period of time, the one thing I have known, I've seen about the two of them is, regardless, even if I see Trey getting upset or whatever, anything, at the end of the day, no matter what, he's going to also look at the other side of things and then think about it a little bit. And before, so I was really banking on that, to be honest with you. I really was. I was banking on, when we finally got to Clones TV Live, that we all will have the opportunity to be heard. And that's all I was looking for. I wasn't looking for anybody to take up for me, because I can do that for myself. I don't need nobody doing that. I wasn't looking for anybody to tell him he wrong or whatever. No, I wasn't looking for that, because I knew that Clones TV as well as Craig Cash TV are somewhat mentors to him. And I don't really know Craig Cash TV like that myself, and I keep saying that in my videos, but I do know the character of Fred and Trey and Fred on Clones TV, Brothers Media TV. Y'all go check them out. If come over to the live, enjoy the live and stuff like that. Some people probably was like, what in the world is going on? And I get that happen. Everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Everything that came out of it was meant to. Even down with Carter, with the information going to him, it was meant to happen the way it happened. It was. In order to show each of us how we handle everything. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this whole experience that we all have experienced, that we all take something from that and learn from it and know to do the right thing, right? But the thing that I loved about that whole experience with that, now, they was sort of kind of doing it like the court of law. Now, which y'all know I love me some law. Bring it on, baby. Okay, I love that. So I picked the whole thing right off the bat. But it was no favoritism shown for anybody. It wasn't no favoritism shown for me. It wasn't no favoritism shown to Carter, and it wasn't no favoritism shown to Kimmy. It was given a platform where everybody can speak what they had to say. And Fred even said, I'm sorry, not Fred, Trey even said, I didn't even know how this thing was going to turn out. And I really didn't think it was getting ready to turn out like this. But he allowed to happen what was already meant to happen. And that was what I respected the most. That no matter what was presented, in the end, the right thing happened. The truth came out, and all things were revealed. So that's what I like about the whole thing that happened there. But what it also showed me was another thing that actually I could tap into, where if anybody, because even Trey said it, he was like, well, this was different. Shoot, we might have to do this some more, you know? I don't know if I would structure minds the same way, but I think that's something I want to dabble into. Maybe a different side of exposing. Like if you feel if there's an exposure on someone and they feel like they want to hear their voice out, where they can come to a platform and we all talk and have a discussion in a live format. That way we could address the issue. Not to say that anything's going to get worked out, but just to say everybody is going to be heard. And that was the whole purpose of what was allowed to happen that night. Whether it was from our own or God intervention, I don't know. You know, I like to think it was a little bit of both, because I do believe in the Lord, and I know He ain't finna never let me down, especially when I ain't did no wrong. Okay, so I completely, yeah, y'all. So that was pretty much what it was, and what I'm thinking where I want to go at from here. As always, make sure y'all drop a comment in the comment section so we can talk about it. If anybody have any questions, what I will not do on this subject right here is continue to dwell on it about what actually happened. It was all done on video. If you want to go watch it, it was on Clones TV, so you can see it for yourself. And I'm sure he probably is going to post it for everybody to see. Because why wouldn't he? You know? But yeah, if anybody do ask me anything concerning this, then I would hope, well, just put it like this. If anybody asking questions concerning this, you're not going to get any drama from whatever responses that you get from me. You're just not going to get it. All right? But you will get the truth for whatever you're asking me for, if I can answer that without stirring up anything other than that, because I think I pretty made myself pretty clear on here. And that's why I wanted to do this video, just to clear the air so everybody's fully aware. And it is a great day when we can all come together and see it for what it is. Right? Just plain and simple, see it for what it is. And like I said, I don't have any ill feelings for anybody. Nobody involved. It was good. It was good. But as always, y'all, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe, okay? As always, be your brothers and sisters keeper. Keep God first. And toodles.